Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Aurora 4X Commonwealth of United Stars. It is January 4th, 2121, and we are beginning to reform our navy as light cruisers come off the dockyards, as we need to prepare ourselves for the eventuality of dealing with enemy forces encroaching on our territory, that being the Swarm and the newly discovered precursor threat to the north of the galaxy. I've reconstituted our forces into a more easy to understand and easy to kind of see organizational structure. We currently have within our forces 4 destroyer divisions. A division is, generally speaking, 1 or 2 vessels on their own. And in fact, what I am also going to do is I'm going to create another division, and that is going to be a cruiser division. So we're going to create a new item command. I'm going to call this a cruiser division. And I'm going to put the Etna into that cruiser division. And that is going up here very, very nicely. But no, this is the light cruiser division. That will be where the Etna is stationed, and that'll be on its own. So we have 4 destroyer divisions, each with a Starfall class destroyer within them at the moment, and they are all patrolling in their separate areas. We then have 2 cruiser destroyer squadrons, which are using the older Achilles as well as the new Highlander class vessels. And those will... the composition of them needs to change slightly. Obviously, we're going to be phasing out the older Achilles. But those are our current main squadrons. The squadron is between 3 and 5 ships. And then we have a flotilla. A flotilla is 2 or more squadrons together. And then finally, we have a group, the light carrier group. This has a destroyer squadron dedicated towards it, which has escort. And then it also has the carrier, escort carrier, the Apollo, which will be adjusting as needed. We still have some of the additional carrier escorts that need proper escorts and destroyers and proper squadrons and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to leave it there for now in terms of that organization. Now, what I want to be doing is I want to be moving away from using destroyers as escorts, if possible, in terms of patrolling. I don't really want them to be patrolling too much, and so I'm going to adjust kind of our roles for some of our ships, right? So currently our frigates are primarily focused on defending worlds close in and doing it pretty damn well. However, I think it's only fair that we move away from that and we have these frigates that are cheaper, and their job is going to basically be taking over the role of the destroyer. In that they're going to be patrolling between certain areas, they're going to be guarding important lag range points and whatnot, because they do have enough firepower as long as we have enough of them in the area. If we have a look at, the DDX here, we have 32 missiles, while a normal frigate has 24 missiles, but the DDX, of course, has a quad-Gauss cannon turret and a larger 20cm laser cannon. So what I then want to do is replace the current frigate role with a corvette. And the corvette's purpose will be to defend close in on the planets themselves. So they will act as more of what the frigates act like right now, while the frigates will act more like what the destroyers act like, and then the destroyers will act primarily as supplemental and additional to larger ships. And I want to start building out light cruiser divisions and all these kind of forces so that we can combine them together to really take the enemy, take it to the enemy. Now, we are increasing the tonnage of our shipyard right now to 5,500 tons. I'm going to be going for probably a 3,000 ton corvette, which is mean we're going to need another naval shipyard, of course. We're currently in a massive worker shortage at the moment, though, which is kind of a problem, I'm not going to lie. I may consider increasing our population growth rate, but what is clear is we can start moving these mines off-world and moving them to other worlds where we can make good use of it. We actually have a lot of mining going on over here, for example, on San Martin, though it's taking some time. So let's go and design that frigate that we want. So I'm going to copy this class. I'm going to rename this to FFX. Okay, so experimental frigates, right? And what I want is something that can basically rival the endurance of a destroyer while still keeping a similar kind of firepower and capability. Well, we can get rid of the engine, that's for sure, and we can afford pretty much the exact same size of engine, but probably just a lot more efficient in general for everyone involved. So we're going to go for a 1000, what is it? A size 28? Yeah, size 28 engine. And we just need to go for a, I think it's a 1.3 power boost total. No, we'll probably need like a 1.45, and that'll get us about the same speed. So we're going to prototype that engine, and then we're going to fit that engine onto the frigate. So prototypes, build it up. That gets us that engine, but we get the significantly more fuel efficient, right? So this is about half as much fuel consumption as this one, which means obviously we will need a lot less fuel, and frigates already take quite a bit of fuel for their size. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the deployment time to 36 months. So let's go 36 months. Currently our DDX is going to be at 42 months, but our Starfalls at the moment are at 36. We're going to go for 36 months. I then want to get rid of the fission reactor, the gaseous fission reactor, and I want to put on power plant magnetic mirror fusion reactor. There we go. In terms of missiles, we're pretty okay with what we currently have on. Oh yeah, we are going to need actually a little bit more powerful of a ion drive, right? Because we're going to be doing escort stuff. So we're going to need probably, I would say, a size 30? Size 30 at 1.45. Yeah, we need like another like... Let's do 1.45. Yeah, let's go for that. That might be a little. That might kill the fuel efficiency a little bit too much for my needs. But that should get us the speed I'm looking for. It's not too bad. Okay, with that now, we're going to add in maintenance storage to get to us about a 3-year maintenance life. Then we're going to add in extra fuel. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That gets us about 20. I think a 20 billion kilometer range is going to be fair as long as they're patrolling and staying in areas, right? And able to refuel. So we can go for that. And what we'll put on with the remainder is going to be command and control, right? So we're going to put on an auxiliary control. And also, if possible, I'd like to fill on the main engineering, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So I'm going to put on an executive officer, so that there can be an executive officer on these frigates, and then we're going to add in additional fuel to increase, again, the capability here. So it's 36, we've changed this up to 36 months, a little bit faster, double the fuel, not double the fuel, double the range, newer engine, newer reactor, and it can still pretty much perform its role as needed, and then the current Ares class frigates, which we have in service, can obviously still fulfill their current role, but the newer frigates will start to phase them out, and in fact, we might look at refitting some of these older ships. But for now, we're going to start research into this. We're going to need to obviously get that ion drive on the way, which is going to take some time. Let's put you in here. Power propulsion. Add to queue. There we go. Other than that, we are building 3 more Highlander-class vessels. That will give us a total of 6 of them. And then we're also building additional Starfalls. However, that's going to be the last Starfalls we're going to build because we're going to be building the DDX, the newer DDX version, which is going to take some time. So let's start incrementing forward, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, no, I woke up today really excited to actually play some of this today because of just organizing. I've also done repair the Stronghead, by the way, don't worry about that. And we have this fighter here that needs to be assigned up correctly to the Mount Rushmore. There we go. So these light cruisers can basically provide, sensor capabilities to the rest of these destroyers, which can then, provide ordnance capability, right? Obviously, how effective that will be in actual combat, we'll have to see. Did we move all the automated mines? We actually did move all the automated mines. That's very, very nice of us. Delete supply. And that does mean that we should have 140 automated mines on this planet. Yeah, we are. We are mining quite a few resources, titanium, uridium, all sorts, and we're going to be shipping that back here. And so with lots of these resources, we are making quite a few of. It's just the uranium and the iridium, which is really going to be a potential problem for us here. Unable to load my mind. Yeah, so with this freighter, we're going to start moving. I'm going to provide them with an escort because I think they're going to need it. Freighter squadron. 75 kiloton. Where's 75 kiloton squadron? Unable to load more of my mind from freighter squadron 6. Yeah, so stop cycling your orders, right? You're going to take infrastructure from you, and you're going to go over to where is it? Ceti Stellaris? Let me check the galactic map. No, Ceti doesn't have any. I mean, it does kind of have a colony world. It's got a 3.541 colony cost, and it's got some pretty nice super Jovians we could use. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And then we've got Ceti, which has just a ton of resources. And then 99 Leonis, of course, has the other problem as well. But I guess we'll take that over to Z6 Stannis first. So we'll go over to Z6 Stannis, and then we'll unload onto the colony. Then we'll head back to Alpha Centauri, and we will refuel. Again, we're going to need some names for these guys. So if you guys leave them in the comments below, I'll have a look, and we'll look at naming. Cycle those orders, and then I'm going to send the HMS... I'm going to send HMS Artemis to escort. 1.6 days. It should be able to arrive. Yeah, so have you join as a subfleet. And have you begin escorting that freighter around. You should have the range for this. Yeah, 85 billion kilometers. You should have the range just fine. But you'll move the infrastructure over. You'll be able to refuel, of course, because the freighter squadron is set up to refuel as needed from Griffin. But that will begin moving over the necessary infrastructure to start colonization in the Zeta 6 system. And then we'll have to start moving mines elsewhere. But so far, I think pretty good. Again, our population is really what's threatening us heavily. And speaking of freighters, what I am also going to do is I'm going to create a new class of freighters. So we've got this copied class right here. We've got new ion drives, and so what we're going to do is we're going to create the largest possible commercial ion drive we can, and then we're going to create a mega freighter. Okay. Now we're going to keep freighters in service no matter what. But the point of a big freighter like this will be to transport across stars. So I'm going to have very large 100 kiloton freighters. They'll move between star systems, and then other freighters like we currently have, but on a bigger scale. Other freighters will be focused on just moving stuff in system around, and that should, logistically speaking, work pretty well for us. Again, the fuel situation is the biggest concern to me at the moment. Beta Antillier Deep Space Defense Station. Do you not have enough? Right, this is why I should always keep. This is the problem with these, is that if you don't know, Beta Antillier Defense Station, you can maintain 16,000 tons. You have multi-hulls of 15,000 tons. How did that get damaged? I guess there was a chance that it broke, but it already used some MSP, so that screwed it up. Okay, and these guys forget, like, throwing its life is down. Yeah. Okay, this is why you need more supplies. Just have you resupply from the ship and then join the subfleet. And then I'm going to go over to Space Antillier because we did also, if I remember, we had our our carriers. Oh god, it gets a bit laggy, doesn't it? Our carrier was moving over stuff. So we had, the Feistus. Now I want to have I think it's what, 75,000 is the distance from the jump point? Yeah, about 75,000. So we want something about there. That waypoint. And I'm going to have the Hephaestus head over to that waypoint. And I'm going to drop the ODP. So drop the axolotl, and then we're going to put that under Beta Antillier Defense Grid B3. Beta Antillier Defense Grid B3. And then we'll need to have the Hephaestus go and pick up the other axolotl. So go to Griffin resupply, and then we can activate these sensors on that. But those platforms should basically mint anything that comes through relatively easily. Of course, we'll have to see the effect. We also have all of these mines, which are just splammed all over the place. Yeah. The production of E1 completed at Griffin. So we're going to put that E1 under, where is it? The Yellow River. Because the Yellow River was what we were wanting to do. So fighters. New fighter squadrons. E1. Yellow River. And there we go. We've got all our light cruisers now with the correct amount of stuff. I want to start loading, make sure these guys are loaded their ordnance correctly so that they have all their ordnance ready to go. In terms of that ordnance, we can probably continue to produce newer missiles. In fact, we should probably start designing newer missiles. We can go for the newer ASHM-F variants, which is what we're doing, right? We'll just go for the same kind of warhead situation, but we can reduce on this to 5.8, and then we can increase power boost to 500%, because we're a little bit more efficient, and we could go for an agility increase. I'll get a little bit of extra agility would help. We have missile agility 48. A little bit of agility would give us a 100% hit chance against raider ships. Yeah, 100% hit chance versus raider ships, but it's really a question of interceptions, right? So if we increase, so if we go from 43,000 to we can go for 4.2, right? That gets us 4,333. Now currently, if we go to missiles, our speed is 32,667. So if we go into DDX and we go to target enemy speed of 43,000, target enemy speed, and then we show bands, we can see that we will hit 25% of all shots, so 1725. Against something going 33,000, we will hit 33. So we'll get about 7% less interceptions from a Gauss cannon turret, right? Now assume railguns. That's assuming that they're firing a railgun going 5,000 kilometers per second. That's going to be 100% hit chance. Going 100% hit chance, that's going to be a 15%, so that's going to be 15% of all shots. But if we do it against a 43% target, that'll be 11%. So about 10% of the missiles will be destroyed. The question becomes, however, is that additional engine power worth it? Because we don't really get much out of that extra, but we do get quite a bit. We get 14% extra hits from that, so we're going to go for that. I'm going to call this the Alpha 1 B ASHM S6. And then we're going to create that missile, and we're going to put that on. So we are going to go to Missile Kinetics Weapons, and I'm going to go for a creation of that. I'm going to need some laboratories to do this, so we'll do that. But with that done, that should improve the hit chances in terms of actually hitting things with our missiles. But we'll have to wait and see first of all. What is going on in terms of galactic? Not galactic. In terms of stabilization efforts, right? So I've been thinking, maybe we want to try our luck with these guys. They're going to have a lot of missiles, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to handle our missiles. I mean, how much stockpile do we have on the planet? Got 535 missiles, that's nowhere near enough. But we could do some pretty damage. We could do quite a bit of damage. That's for sure. Quite a bit of damage. My question would be, how many ships do they have that could defend against that, right? Like, do I really want to expend weapons on these targets? Because they have probably, I would say, I don't know, 80,000 tons or something. And they must have plenty of missile launchers on those ships, and they must have anti-missile missiles and other point defense capabilities. So how many ships could we realistically muster? Well, if we had 6 light cruisers, I'd feel a lot more confident, because then we would be in a pretty good position overall. 6 light cruisers. If we had, like, you know, 6 cruiser destroyer squadrons, like, I'd feel pretty damn confident about taking that fight, because then we would have like 330,000 tons of shipping, and that's quite a bit. But we don't really have the ability to do that, and we're gonna need a lot more missiles if we're gonna make, you know, any significant amount of progress, right? And we also need to rearm, and the missile quantity is going to be used on those ships is going to be pretty extensive, and we also have we're using the older missiles, not the new missiles. Now the new missiles are going to have a much better chance, but you know, it's obviously of debate, right? Of debate on what we should do. Continue to income. I've also turned on event killers, by the way. I've imported these. You can find these on my Discord. They're pretty good, I would say. They allow you to see things a little bit easier, and if you guys enjoy them, you can, again, as I said, go on the Discord and you can grab them. But yeah, that's one of the FFX. Now Corvettes, what would Corvette be? Basically, like a Corvette. We're gonna design a Corvette real quick. Basically, we want what we had originally for our frigate, so we're going to go for like. Alright, and yeah, so we'll have to see. I really want to send a ship through and have a look in Ceti at the moment. Really do. But yeah, design a Corvette. We're gonna need an engine for that. Decent engine. A decent speed, ideally, right? So if they're only gonna be, you know, dealing with in system, then they need about a 10 billion kilometer range, which is not too much. So if we look at like a I'm going to open the optimizer real quick, because I always do think that is the best thing to do. So if I go to my Aurora optimizer, so we're gonna load up the optimizer. So let's go for a 3,000 ton ship. I want a speed of, let's say, 8,000 kilometers per second, right, with a 10 billion kilometer range at ion technology. What can you give me? You can give me that. That'll give me an 8,000 kilometer range with pretty good abilities right there. Fuel usage is pretty significant, but I don't mind that too much. So let's go for. But we only really need them to be able to defend against what you call it, against raiders. What's the speed of the swarm? What's the speed of the swarm stuff? 9,000 kilometers per second. So we could theoretically outspeed them if we go to 9. I can't do 9, so there's no point then. We'll just get 5,000 kilometers per second, right? That'll get us an extra 400 tons, and that will also significantly reduce the amount of fuel usage we're going to be requiring. With a 10 billion kilometer range, that's pretty damn good, I would say. So we're going to go for, again, Corvette. We're going to design an engine. I'm going to create that engine as a that range 16 HS with a boost of 1.5 prototype. And that gives a speed of 5,000 kilometers per second, which is pretty nice. So put that on. That's more than enough fuel. We can add in the additional fuel here. There we go. Then we're gonna put on, I think we could put on like a 10 centimeter laser, which might not be a bad idea. We could do like a 10 centimeter, but the problem is that won't be able to outrange like a target. So we'll go like a 15 centimeter laser, right? And then we can go additional launches and stuff as needed. Power plant, take that on. Go for a beam fire control. So I'll do beam fire control. 100 single weapon. Then we can start fitting on box launchers. I'm going to go for 16 launches. Seems fair to me. We can go with 16 launches. We're going to have a deployment time of 24 months. And that's also enough for the maintenance, but we do need to add in an additional maintenance module so that they have enough MSP to max repair. And then we need a missile fire control of some description. We need an active sensor. Let's go for a resolution 10 active sensor. Right there. And we can also fit in a res or a thermal. Will 16 launches really be enough? I mean, it kind of is enough for what we need, right? So if you have 3 corvettes in like an area, that's like 16, 32, 48 missiles that we can fire at the target with 3 corvettes. How much more would we need to be able to add in an extra 8 missiles, right? That'd be 90, 180. You're looking at 360 tons, so it's not too much. 4 launchers. We take off the larger sensor, and we can put on the earlier sensor, right? So we can put on the Res 10, that sensor. And then we're in actually a pretty decent position. I am going to give them a little bit more MSP. We can give them a little bit more fuel. But this actually does fit kind of the role that I'm envisioning for it. It's got the same firepower as a frigate. It doesn't have armor. It has a 15cm laser like a frigate, so it has the same range gun. It has the same range as a current generation frigate, right? And the same speed as a current generation frigate, but it's also, you know, comparatively speaking, it's pretty much like half the cost. And if it's half the cost, we can afford 2 for every one, and we can put them into different areas and defend ourselves pretty well. Now, we have light attack crafts, which have 6 missiles each, which are 125, so, you know, the question becomes, is it worth it to have 3 light attack crafts instead of 1 corvette? And I would argue that having 1 corvette is more valuable because we get the extra laser, we get the endurance, right? We have 2 years of endurance, so this thing can patrol or stay in an area for a bit. You know, it can stay in system, it can defend in system, and I think that's pretty useful. And so we're going to go for a design onto that engine. I'm going to go and say that I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm going to say that's a good thing to have. So we're going to just add to the queue accordingly. In fact, I'm also going to take some labs off some other places because we need to get these engines done as quickly as possible so that we can start our shipbuilding program, which is going to take quite a bit of time, of course. Hephaestus can also orbiting Griffin. Now, the Hephaestus needs to pick up another ODP, which is the Orbital Defense Platform Axolotls. The Axolotl we're going to put under the HMAS Artemis. So that'll be under Convoy Protection. That'll be HMAS Hephaestus. Take that over to Beta Antillier. That over to the Deep Space Defense Stations. Good. How's our fuel situation? Okay, it's doing okay. We're doing okay. We're doing okay with the fuel. Maintenance supply is a bit ridiculous on San Martin at the moment. We're doing pretty well in that regard, and wealth situation is also improving. Yeah, we're improving the wealth situation, so hopefully we'll be able to get that under control relatively shortly. Yeah, the wealth is improving. Launch some new ships, 2 juniors to command. But yeah, I would love to know what's going on right now in Tau Ceti. So what I'm going to do, in fact, is I'm going to dispatch HMS Etna. HMS Etna, who is currently in Upper Silesia, of Cruiser Division 1. We're going to send you over to Beta Antillier. It'll take 22 days. We're going to head to the Tau Ceti jump point, and we're not going to send it through the jump point on its own. We're going to send the scout fighter through first, and if the scout fighter finds there's no targets on the other side, we will send... we will then use the scout fighter to kind of get an idea of what the current situation is. So we're going to wait on that time, but we're going to send the Etna over towards the Beta Antillier defense point, which is here. And then we just finish up scrapping those 2 survey ships, and we're going to have to be looking at getting some new survey ships built. So you upgrade for the Latimer Ironworks. Would that be the 5,500 ton yard? No, that would not be. That would be this other yard. Does that mean that our uranium usage has gone down? Yes, it has gone down, which is good to see. And we're also salvaging right there with the Bellerophon. Which is nice to see. Let's go into Kubagassi, and there's the Etna. The Etna has arrived. So we're going to have the Etna detach its fighter. And it's going to transit through Tau Ceti. Now, if there's a bunch of aliens behind this jump point, I'm going to be very, very scared. But I'm going to hope there isn't. Okay, so far, so good. However, we don't have our active sensors on, so let's turn our active sensors on. Okay, so far, doesn't look like it. Now, if we could secure this area and get the Rex back, I'd be very happy about that. Now, Acheron is where they're coming from. Now, the range to get to Acheron is 4 billion kilometers. That's pretty damn far. So we're going to send, we're going to keep the E1 on this side of the jump point. Now, how long can the E1 last? 9 days. Yeah, you can't really do that, can you? So you're going to go back through the jump point, and you're going to land on a side mothership. Then I'm going to order, this is being repaired. This is short version right now. So Carrier Division 1 is being repaired right now. We're waiting for that repair. That'll be done in March of next year. It's a big repair because we're basically doing a full refit. In fact, I might even consider cancelling that repair and yeah, delete task, and we are going to just scrap that vessel. We're going to attach it and just scrap it. It's outdated anyway, and we're not going to need it, so I'm just going to order that for that to be scrapped. So we're going to go for the Merlin class, and I want the strong-headed scrapped as soon as possible. Thank you very much. And that'll take until January of next year. We're going to dispatch Carrier Division 1 alongside Destroyer Squadron 1. So Destroyer Squadron 1 is going to join up with Carrier Division 1. So let me have you join up. Carrier Division 1, where are you? You're orbiting Benetrix at the moment. Okay. Hello, South Centauri. Refuel resupply. Why can you only go 1 kilometer per second? Hello? Yeah, max speed. You're fine. You should be able to reach that. How long will that take you to go from EQ Pegassi? Right, you're over EQ Pegassi, but Pegassi, I need to make sure that you actually have a defense there. So we're going to send you over to EQ Pegassi there. Shore Squadron 1, actually, we can just have you meet up, right? So just go to Beta Antillier and then go to Tau Ceti jump point. Shore Squadron 1, go to Tau Ceti jump point. So yeah, go to Tau Ceti jump point there. No, Beta Antillier, please. Beta Antillier, thank you very much. And you're going to move to that location. Then we're going to order both cruiser squadrons to go to Beta Antillier. Move to Tau Ceti jump point. And Beta Antillier, move to Tau Ceti jump point. Okay, so that is 34 days for each. We're going to need some tankers, really. Yeah, we're going to need some tankers to actually be able to support this. Logistics, I need my logistics fleet. Fuel logistics is okay for now. Do we not have any tankers available? We really don't, do we? Well, they'll be able to get some refuel. Right. It should be okay. So we'll be moving those two over, and then we'll also be moving this over. Now, I need to make sure that I'm not leaving EQ Pegassi undefended here. Carrier Division 1. Carrier Division 1 could probably move, because EQ Pegassi, I would imagine, should have surface-to-orbit weapons on it. Right? Yeah, you have surface-to-orbit weapons. So just make sure your active sensors are on. Actives are on. Actives are on. Actives are on. So you should be able to defend ourselves just fine. Jump shock. There we go. So we're gonna have everyone head over, and then we got the surface-to-orbit weapons there, so we should be completely fine. Price complete all is orbiting. That is the next point. So if we get chased back and they come and attack us, we should have, you know, massive defensive capability at this area. There's the Hephaestus. So we currently have those over there. Now we want probably, I would say here, waypoint 19. So let me have the Hephaestus move over to waypoint 19. You've locked, and then we're going to drop that ODP, and we're going to put that under the Patrol and Defense Coast Guard. So we're going to go over to Beta Antillier Defense Forces. We're going to go to Beta Antillier Defense Grid B4. Actives on, and then Hephaestus can return home. Resupply. But no, this gives us now a full 360 surround with laser weapons. Oh, and those were 4 new Starfall class vessels that just finished up. I'm going to bring them into I'm gonna bring them into the combat zone. I'm gonna rename this to Destroyer Squadron 1. And we're gonna send them. I'm gonna make sure I actually move them up towards here. Merchant Marine, carriers. Yeah, move you up to First Fleet. There we go. We're going to send Destroyer Squadron 1. Now that you've got your ordnance loaded, which you should do, you should have 128 missiles. We're going to send you up towards Beta Antillier. I want to send you to the Tau Ceti jump point area. And I'll give you further orders once we're in the area. Now, we're going to be expending a lot of fuel doing this, but I kind of have to do it, in my opinion. Okay, there's the carrier division that just arrived. The Etna is also here, of course. And we'll have the Etna lead that destroy division once it's arrived as well. Which will be good. Okay. Destroyer Squadron 1 has arrived, as well as Cruiser and the other Destroyer Squadron on top of that. So we're going to have you join up with the Carrier Division as a subfleet. Then we have our 2 Cruiser Destroyer Squadrons ready to go. They are both ready. And again, we're going to be very careful. I'm going to dispatch this E1 to go through the jump point first with actives on. And it's completed its orders, which means that it should be safe on the other side. Looks like it is safe on the other side. And we are then going to begin transit. Okay, so Carrier Division 1, begin transit through Tau Ceti, Carrier Cruiser Destroyer Squadron 2, and then the Cruiser Destroyer Squadron 1 begin transit. But I think that's where we're going to leave the episode off. Hope you guys have enjoyed. We're going to go back into Tau Ceti, see if we can secure the system, and keep the swarm out of it, and potentially even colonize it for ourselves, as it has a lot of minerals that we are going to be needing, a lot of thorium, a lot of resources, and we'll see you guys next time.